that brings us to a point where you're like, okay, well, what should I do? Should I no, should I stick to my job? Should I, start a company, or, do my own thing? What do I do? And in my opinion, what I've seen is that you do whatever you think is going to fulfill you. If your work is fulfilling you, uh, you do that. However, before you think it's not fulfilling or you'd like a change, you gotta understand your whys. Because I remember a lot of times that I've been like, hey, I gotta quit my job. I really don't like the job. Uh, and I wanna just work on, my business. I wanna have my business, and and that's it. Like, I wanna be free. I wanna have freedom. Then I remember asking myself this question that, okay, you hate this work, but you are going to need the work that you're doing right now when you start your own business. So when you start your own business, you're still gonna like, let's take an example of if you're if you have a cold calling job, if you're a business development executive for a software company again, um, and you're like, oh, I hate my job. But now you got to think about, what about it is it that you hate? Point I'm trying to get at is that, do you hate the job, or do you just hate working? Because if you're if you're telling yourself that I hate this job and I want to quit, and actually want to do my own thing, I will guarantee you that it's going to be 100 times more work. So if you can't handle the work, you probably shouldn't quit. Uh, and by saying that you shouldn't quit, I mean is that you gotta get your reasons straight first. So you gotta know, why is it that you're quitting? Because if you hate the job, the activity that you're doing, then maybe, okay, quit. But if you're just hating the work itself, then I'll tell you right now that when you have your own company, you're gonna have to do 10, 20, 100 times more work than you are doing right now. And if you don't do that, then you're just going to be one of those mediocre businesses. If that's not what you want to be, then it's probably a good idea to first get in the habit of working, because work is non-negotiable. That has to be put in. It doesn't matter what the thing is. So when I was debating to quit my job, I always found myself in a situation that I actually didn't hate the job that I was doing. I was just too lazy to work. I just didn't want to put in that work. And then I was like, okay, well, is it the girls that I'm missing out on? If I start, like, right now, I have a job that I have to be at, so I can't date as much. Is it all the moments, or is it the traveling that I'm missing out on? Is that what I miss, or is that the reason that I want to quit this job, or is it actually the business? And I got to a point where actually I boiled it down to, actually being able to put in the hours uh, in my business instead of putting in those hours in somebody else's business. But I was wrong. Now that I have already quit the job, and I've realized that actually it's actually not, you know, I was just my mind was actually just trying to fool myself. I was just trying to fool myself into believing that the reason why I want to quit my job is to actually to work on my business, because it wasn't. Because if it was, I would be working 10 hours, 12 hours a day, and still making those cold calls that I was making, at the job, which I'm not. So it's easy to quit your job, but then, like, first of all, like, are you running away from work? Because that's the big thing. If you don't want to work, that means you're just lazy. You don't need another job. You don't need another or a new line of work. That means you're just lazy and you need discipline. And without discipline, you're not going to be able to do anything if you can't just, you know, put your head down and get to work. You're just going to end up like a lot of people, and those people you probably don't want to be like. So that's one thing that I had to recently overcome, and now I'm getting back to it. Hence why, I'm creating this for you, because that's something that I recently learned, that I actually have to know your reasons why you want to quit the job, and ask yourself, is it the work that I'm running away from, or is it the work I'm doing that I don't like? Um, and if that work, would I still have to do that in my business when I do quit the job or the next job that I find? Would I still have to do the job? Sometimes when you're in a job, you just really don't like people. You're like, I don't mind working at this coffee shop, but I just really don't like these people. Maybe then it's time to change, right? But then if you really don't like coffee, then changing another shop or just working at a different shop isn't going to change the fact that you don't like coffee. So you're probably going to do a terrible job even if you find a new group of people to work with. So again, like I can't emphasize enough on the fact that that you got to know your whys. Like, why are you actually doing it? You can tell yourself all you want, but end of the day, you'll know if you're saying the truth. You'll know if you cheated on yourself. You'll know if you're lying to yourself. Um, and honestly, you're the only person who has your own best interest in mind. So you better not lie to yourself.